Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. Now I know the very first question on your mind is, how was that KFC fire log? Well, first of all, the appearance of it, if I'm being really polite, I think it looks maybe a bit like head cheese, if you've ever seen that. If I'm being impolite, it looks like something that came out of an elephant. This is not an attractive looking piece of wood by any stretch. But how did it burn? How did it smell? Let's take a look. Lamest fire log ever.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even a little bit of chicken. Like maybe someone walked this log through a room that had a drumstick sitting on the counter, but that's about it. I'm certainly not getting 11 herbs and spices. It's warm though.
When I was a kid and I would buy a toy or something that really turned out to be a piece of junk, my dad would say, you should have just gone to the bank, got a handful of quarters, and thrown them at the ground to see if you can make sparks. I don't know if that's a great story or not, but I couldn't help but think $15 worth of quarters making sparks as I burned this log. So if any of you were on the fence thinking, should I get that KFC fire log? Don't do it. Don't do it. By the time this video airs on Monday, I should be in the 90 to 91,000 subscriber range, which is getting pretty exciting as we get close to 100,000. Based on my calculations, provided subscriber growth stays the same, this could be a great Christmas present for me, hitting 100,000 subscribers. So for those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate that. If you're not subscribed, well, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. One of the things that I had talked about a number of months ago is, could I make Serious Keto financially viable as my full-time gig by the end of this year? And it's getting close. It's getting really close. And to me, that would just be the best. So if I find myself, fingers crossed, early in 2021, above water on Serious Keto, I'm going to take whatever excess income there is and start plugging it back in to the channel, the website, and most importantly, getting a cookbook together. I know a lot of people have asked about that, and it's one of those things that would be tremendously time consuming for me in terms of the food photography, layout, editing, things of that nature. But if I can get to a point where I can find someone who's willing to work for cheap and help me out with that, that will be one of my first goals for 2021. At least initially, it's just going to be an e-cookbook. In a conversation I had with Papa G, he told me that he's got an e-cookbook and he really feels that was the way to go. He had looked into publishing hard copies and it wasn't worth the effort. So at least initially, probably just an e-cookbook. One of the things that has really, really helped out this channel, and I mention it at the end of every video, is channel memberships. I can't thank my channel members enough that they're willing to give a little something to me every month in order to help this channel out. And in return, I try and give them some perks, some things to say thank you. A couple of the big ones that all the tiers get are advanced view of all my videos, or most of my videos. And that can be anywhere from just a day ahead of time to over a week ahead of time. I also send out special little communications to all of them, letting them know what I'm working on, getting their feedback, getting their ideas on things that I should work on. I'll also throw little contests for them. I plan on doing one probably before Christmas, sort of a Steve curated care package of various keto products, maybe even a couple of my own things like my barbecue keto spice rub. And I'll also ask for feedback or ideas for recipes, or even, in this case, what should I talk about during the podcast? One of the biggest requests that I got from my channel members for what I should cover in this podcast is, how are you going to handle Thanksgiving? Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but it seems that our family, well, me and my wife's family, all of them sort of divvy up the holidays. Who gets what? and they sort of stake their claim, well, Christmas is mine, well, Christmas Eve is mine. Somehow Thanksgiving became mine, and I didn't request it. So I find that on any given Thanksgiving, I'm hosting anywhere from about 14 to 20 people. And of them, I am the only keto person. So this kind of puts a bit of a decision on me. Do I decide that this will be a day that I just break keto? Or do I try and make a keto meal that is appealing enough across the board that everyone will eat it and not know that it's keto? Or do I make a separate something for me while I make the non-keto food for everyone else? So I've got that decision to contend with. But also, every year I feel like I kind of try and outdo myself from the prior year in terms of Thanksgiving. So as we look back to some of my pre-keto Thanksgiving meals, I've smoked turkeys, I've deep fried turkeys. One year I just got sick of turkey and said, how would everyone like beef Wellington, which is something I'm pretty good at. The last year, before I went keto, I created a turkey Wellington. And I did this so still pre-keto, I took 2 turkey breasts and put them sort of thin end to thick end, so kind of overlaid them on one another. And I used transglutaminase, which is sometimes called meat glue or protein glue, to connect the two together. And then I laid it out on a sheet of plastic wrap, rolled it up, spinned it up kind of like a sushi roll or like a sausage, let it cool, and then it basically became this cylinder of turkey breast. So kind of like a tenderloin in shape, but turkey. Then instead of duxelles or pate, I used stuffing to surround it, and a lot of mushrooms and a little bit of sausage in there, and then wrapped it in the puff pastry dough and cooked it up just like it was a beef Wellington, and then had the gravy on top. I thought, super big hit, everyone seemed to love it, but this was also the Thanksgiving that was sort of the nervous breakdown Thanksgiving for me, because I had put so much work into this, and everyone, dinner was over, left the house, left things looking like a crime scene. It was just a mess, and I was exhausted and felt really kind of unappreciated for all the work that I'd put into it. Last year for Thanksgiving, basically I just made separate food for myself. We had the turkey, I made my own gravy, I made my own mashed cauliflower, I made my own stuffing from my stuffing chaffles, and all of those are in my Thanksgiving playlist, which I'll see if I can link to right up here. This brings me back to, what do I do this year? Can I do something, the main course at least, in sort of a stealth keto mode? So what I'm knocking around doing is creating some turkey sausage and then making the equivalent of my smoked bacon-wrapped sausage fatty. But instead of it being pork sausage and filled with all kinds of things like pepperoni and cheese and onions and peppers, I'll instead fill the sausage log with stuffing, then wrap it with bacon, put on my barbecue rub, and smoke it. I have no idea if this is going to work, so I kind of need to have a backup plan. I'm also thinking that based on the size of these, I probably will make 2 of them. One will be with regular stuffing, and the other will be with the keto stuffing. So that's the main dish. In terms of potatoes, I'm going to have a better idea on that when I finish my potatoes resistant starch video. So if that turns out to be something that I can pull off, then we can all eat the same mashed potatoes. But if that experiment doesn't work, then I'm probably going to wind up making just my own mashed cauliflower for myself. The one dish that is not on my playlist for Thanksgiving, but hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks, there is a green bean dish I saw in Food and Wine magazine a couple of months ago that looks spectacular. It looks like it's probably going to be fairly easily ketofiable. I think the only ingredient in it that needs to be swapped out is all-purpose flour. So if I can figure out, are they using this as a thickener or something else, that will dictate what I use as a replacement. Looks like a great recipe. Hope to pull it off, make it a video, and add it to the playlist. In terms of dessert, to me dessert is not that big of a deal. So I probably won't even have dessert. I'll say, if someone wants to bring a pumpkin pie, or if Courtney wants to make a pumpkin pie, that's fine. I'll just abstain. And if that turkey bacon-wrapped sausage fatty turns out to work, I will make that video again, but I guess you won't be able to use it until next year, Thanksgiving. So check out that playlist, see if there's anything you see that's missing, and then I guess you, like me, will have to make the decision. How are you going to handle your keto Thanksgiving? And with that, we're going to take a brief little ad break. One of the things that I talk about a lot in these podcasts are the comments that I get. And there's a reason for that. This channel, I think, is really sort of largely based on the interaction between you and me and you and each other. And the way that we do that is through the comments. I had one person leave a comment last week asking, why do you even bother responding to people? Why don't you just turn off comments altogether? And the answer is kind of what I just said. That comment section, that is sort of our community. And that's how we interact. Back when the channel was smaller, I made it a point to reply to every single comment. But now, with the size of the channel, I can't. There are days where I get 500 comments, and I try and read them all. I try and give them a like or a comment or a heart, something that lets them know that I saw their comment and I appreciate it. I've also found that on some of these busier days, I really have to be a little bit more selective on who I reply to, especially if it's a question that I've already answered dozens and dozens of times. So one of the things that I'm going to do now is answer one of the most common questions that I get, which is, where did you get that shirt? Well, first, let me ask something of you. If you're going to ask, where did you get that shirt? I don't remember what shirt I wore on any given video. So that means I need to go in, open up the video, see what shirt I'm wearing. If you ever have a question about a shirt, say like, hey, Steve, love that 2020 dumpster fire shirt. Where did you get that? Or, hey, Steve, I love that Ramones looking ketones shirt. Where did you get that? Then I'm able to reply to you without having to go into the video, open it up, and start watching to see what shirt I'm wearing. So that would make it easier on me. So in terms of where I get the shirts, if I get them from Amazon, I will link to them down in the description below. If I didn't get it at Amazon, like the shirt, for example, $6shirts.com. I love $6shirts.com just because I'm sort of a pop culture geek, and I find that a lot of their shirts really kind of tickle my funny bone. Additionally, and I get no commission, they have no affiliate marketing partnership, anything like that, which bums me out. I think I could sell a lot of shirts for them. They have a deal where if you buy 10 shirts, they're $5 each, plus shipping. And when I lost a bunch of weight, I found that I needed a bunch more shirts, and nothing beats $5 shirts from $6 shirts when you need to buy a bunch. And then just gradually, as people were saying, oh, I love your shirt, I felt that, oh, this is sort of a thing for me. This is something that I can do on the channel just sort of for fun, kind of always be working through some fun, hopefully fun and or funny t-shirts. So you may today see some other channels doing some promos for Perfect Keto. And I'm not going to do a promo for them. I feel like I just did something not that long ago, so I'm not going to do something else. I'm kind of holding out for Black Friday. But they're releasing some new products today. They've got a Snickerdoodle cookie, which I tried. And if you are bothered by erythritol, the whole cooling effect, like the mint gum sort of cooling that you get in your mouth, this brings it. The Snickerdoodle cookie does. Erythritol is actually the number 2 ingredient. As a result, even though I kind of like the flavor, just the coolness, that sensation is just wrong to me. So I couldn't really promote that cookie. 2 other products that they've got coming out are a cinnamon toast MCT oil powder. That one sounds interesting to me. And a cinnamon toast collagen powder, which also sounds kind of interesting to me. I haven't tried either, so I can't advise one way or another on those. Anyhow, it's a tiered sale. I'll link to it down below. If you desperately want one of these things right now, you can use the link, you can save a little bit of money, but I would say if you're not desperately in need, hang on until Black Friday, because that sale is going to be massive. Probably 40 to 50% off. So that's a little public service announcement, and all I have to say about that. One of the things that I've noticed on this channel is I am remarkably bad at predicting what videos are going to perform well. It's almost uncanny. I'll do a video that I think is just sort of a throwaway. And by that, I don't mean it's garbage. I just mean, okay, here's something I can do quick and get posted and have some content out there. It'll do great. And then I'll do another video that's I think, my work of art. It's my Sgt. Pepper. It's my Abbey Road. And I put it out there and, you know, it gets some decent views, but certainly nothing like I had hoped. And I'm trying to figure out the reasoning behind it. I don't know, it doesn't seem to be related to the length of the video. It doesn't seem to be related to the complexity of the recipe. So I guess what I'll just keep doing is what I've been doing. Throwing out a mixture of things, the podcasts, the reviews, the kitchen science, the resistant starch stuff. The resistant starch potato video I expect to come either this Wednesday or Friday. And this is kind of interesting stuff. And that's probably like the shortest topic I'll ever have. That was like it was a random thought. In terms of last week's Easter egg, a lot of you got it. We have Shaun and Ed from Shaun of the Dead. You know, it just occurred to me, I wonder if they did that purposefully. Shaun of the Dead and Shaun and Ed, like if they called him Ed just because it rhymes with dead? I don't know. And looping back to $6shirts.com, if you are a Shaun of the Dead fan, they have a Winchester Pub t-shirt. I used to have it back when I wore an XL and it was kind of tight on me. Now it would be it's like a tent. It's like I'm wearing a muumuu. So I got rid of that shirt. It would have been cool had I had it last week, but that really may have clued off too many people who the figures were. And with that, I am going to wrap up this video podcast. As always, if you want to help out the channel, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can subscribe. You can click the like button. You can click on the notifications button and set it to all notifications. If you're interested in some of those little thank you perks that I talked about before, click on the join button and see what membership options are all about. Thanks for watching or listening.